Well, hello, everybody. It's me, Colin Parker, your pod boss, not your keeper this time, your best friend, and today, your little forest boy. And we are back with another team up with cast and fan favorite Parable Games for the Shiver RPG. So let's go ahead and do some quick introductions of people, and then we will let our DM take over. So like I said, I'm Colin Parker. You've heard from me and everything like that. So let's go over to Morgan. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm wearing a scarf on my head.
It's wonderful. Hello, Allison. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. I'm Allison. Hi, everyone in the chat.
This is my wife.
Yeah,
I'm
chat, say
Morgan's
hello.
wife. And I'm wearing chainmail on my neck.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't see that was chainmail. And special guest all the way from across from the world. We've got Charlie. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having us once again. It's great to be working with the Scavengers Network again.
Fantastic. And with that, I'm passing the emceeing essentially over to you because it's not. I'm a player this time, so I'm ready.
Okay, I'm just shifting out of the way of this errant sunbeam that is hitting me in the eyes because typical English weather, it likes to get sunny when it's most inconvenient. So, yes, I'm Charlie. For those who don't know, I'm the lead creator and writer for Shiver, a horror TTRPG dedicated to bring your favourite scary stories and creepy characters to life. Today, we're going to be playing a game called the Hogswallow Horror, set within medieval Europe with kind of grimy peasants galore and all kind of horrors. So the setup that we have is that something has been taking the livestock. A ravaged limb or a severed head occasionally remains, but the situation in the peasant village of Hogswallow has become quite dire. With winter fast approaching, there won't be enough food to feed the village, and without sufficient coin to hire help or wandering adventurers to rid them of the beasts, the peasants are getting desperate. The beast has now taken a shepherd, a favourite of the village, Old Man Hopkin. He was a foundation stone of the community, and Hopkin's disappearance has rocked Hogswallow to its core. So now everyone has decided it is time for action, and the peasants are now gathered in the local tavern, the Boar's Tusk, to form a group to track the beast and end this horror once and for all. So now this meeting within the tavern is set for a specific time. Would your characters be prompt, or would there be something you would be doing before attending this meeting together?
Ooh.
Sorry, yeah, I'll let you go first. So you go first.
Oh, I think I would have already been there before the meeting was started, sitting in the corner with some knitting.
Nope.
With some knitting.
Yes. This is me knitting.
knitting.
I don't actually know how to knit, but just pretend.
Yeah. And my character, Bradford Smithson, would be sitting at the bar with his big fist holding a mug, drinking a pint. I would already be there.
Real quick, sorry, what time of day is it happening again?
So this will probably be kind of like late morning, kind of early afternoon. Everyone's
still
kind of
there.
gathering together.
Sure. Just out of curiosity, how around this time of day, how frequently would you say I don't know, more well-known people would be, out on the, maybe not necessarily the roads, but out, leaving town to maybe travel, out on the roads outside of town?
Oh, I'd say you'd probably have a few kind of around this time. They'd probably start to be quickening their step as darkness was kind of rolling in. So kind of getting to that point of day where people would be hurrying to find a kind of safe place to bed down for the night.
Okay. If that's the case, I am definitely going to be late, just because I need to make sure that people are getting home safely, and and perhaps if they have a large amount of coin, that that we just make sure that that it is in good hands. And that's all.
Wowzer.
Just trying to be a good citizen. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Well, whilst Colin is taking part in some light banditry upon the road, Morgan, would you like to give us a little bit more of a description, introduction to your character?
Yeah. My name is Hildegard of Hogswallow. I don't have a last name because I just assume most medieval women didn't. And I am the resident old lady who lives on the edge of town. And the beast took my prized cow, Bethesda, and so I need to avenge her and get her back. So I'm fed up.
Bethesda.
Who's going to tell Todd Howard? That's my question.
Todd Howard is my son.
Oh man!
For some reason, I'm just imagining you knitting a sweater for your missing cow. The incoming.
It's a really big sweater. Yeah, it's a hurt.
Todd is freezing. Is like, maybe I could get a. No.
Not now, Todd.
Yeah,
I'm waiting
exactly.
for Bethesda.
And how about your character, Allison Branford, sitting at the bar? You mentioned your large hands.
Yes. I am a large man. I am a warrior, and I'm younger. I'm probably about 17, a little bit rough around the edges. I'm hard on the outside, but a little softy on the inside. I love animals, and I just melt for like baby kittens. And what else is new? And I am the son of a blacksmith. Smithson is my last name. But he wants me to apprentice for him to be a blacksmith, but I am terribly afraid of fire. So I really just don't want to do that for him. So I'm trying to find another way in my life. And right now I'm just contemplating my life at the tavern.
Fantastic. So, Colin, as we've established, you're going to be late. The tavern, the Boar's Tusk, is going to start to fill up. And got to get kind of quite crowded as the final few begin to trickle in through its heavy wooden doors, closed quite quickly to keep out the bitter winter chill that's kind of coming in on the wind. The tavern sign swings kind of in this icy gale, and up above is a yellowed boar tusk nailed to the engraved sign. The atmosphere inside grows increasingly tense. For you, Hildegard and Bradford, you notice there are groups just muttering to one another over foaming flagons, casting glances amongst kind of other huddles of nervous patrons. Hogswallow isn't a large town, but enough for kind of everyone. Pretty much you see nearly everyone who kind of fills town has turned up for this meeting today. And there are no songs or revelry, just this air of anticipation. So the meeting is about to kick off in full swing. But Colin, I think what we will do is we'll cut over to your character out on the roads as the sun begins to wane slightly in the sky, and give us a little sense of what you're up to.
Well, I am someone who I like to sort of stick to my own crew. My people, right? I definitely, I come across as well put together, but I do live in the woods. I live in like the wooded area. And I try to really build myself up and try to be as charismatic as I can when dealing with people, except for when I'm making sure that people get home safely, right? That's a totally different situation. I am essentially dressed as I am, like outside of the media res, right? Like leather bracers, like wearing the green to sort of fit in with the wooded area. You see, I do feel as though I need some sort of cloak or something like that when I go out to procure some goods for the people in the town, especially the more poor, because it hurts when people can see my face, because it means that people know who I am. They really need to invent some sort of cloak to cover that, or maybe to cover my face a little bit, like a hood, some sort of Robin Hood. And that would be, kind of a preference for me. But basically, I'm just out there right now trying to. There's this kind of elderly gentleman at the end of the street, and he very rarely doesn't have enough money to like kind of make ends meet. So I always try to make sure that I have a couple extra pieces of coin to gently give him, to sort of slip into his pocket so that he can, feed.
So yeah, you're approaching this old gentleman. He has this kind of small little wooden cup, and you hear him saying, "Alms, alms for the poor, alms, alms for the poor."
And I, reach into, I guess I have some sort of like pouch or something, on my waistband, and I, just very, very, discreetly as I can, drop in, I'll say 4 coin. I feel like that's probably enough. I don't know how money works back in the olden days, so I'm assuming that's
4
plenty.
coin.
The ambiguousness of coin is absolutely fine. We're not breaking it into bronze, silver, and gold. Let's just put it that way.
Sure. Yeah.
To get into the economics of it all. But the old man who's has a very keen ear for when people drop coin into his mug. So it's like, "Oh, God bless you, sir. God bless you," and kind of reaches out to kind of paw at your kind of long, assumedly green kind of cloaked arm. "God bless you, sir. Thank you so much."
I would like to immediately, again, because I'm very crafty and very, witty. I want it to seem as if it just happened. I never, even though I like this gentleman, I never want him to really know where it's coming from. Again, I try to remain in the shadows. So I know this is technically a combat thing, but can I dodge his reaching out and just sort of essentially poof, disappear into the world?
Roll a wit check for me to
Absolutely
to disappear, and if you're successful, we'll
I have 2 successes, 0 strange.
Fantastic. So in what manner do you disappear out of this gentleman's grasp and eyeline? I would assume.
I would actually like to just jump almost like superhuman feet style, jump vertical 8-foot jump essentially, and leap up onto the rooftops essentially,
What is he, like a samurai now?
I know.
No, he just he climbs trees
there.
and stuff like that all the time. You know what I mean? So it's I assume that climbing a gutter or something like that is probably not that much different.
Okay.
So hopping up onto a gutter and very quietly, crawling up and then taking the rooftops over to the bar area. So it's just magically the winds carried these coins somehow.
Yes. So you dash out of the way of this elderly gentleman's grasp, kip up off of a alleyway wall, and scurry onto a very precarious thatched roof. But your nimble feet make sure that you do not fall through as this elderly gentleman looks around himself and goes, "Ah, the mysterious stranger strikes again." and then rummages through and counts the coins. "A little bit stingier than last time." And then starts wandering off down the street going, "Arms, arms." and carries on. And from your rooftop perch, Robert, you see the lights of the tavern, the Boar's Tusk, kind of glowing in the distance, and the kind of murmurs of nervous voices rising within the village.
I would have to assume so. If I'm on a night perch kind of thing, looking over the city, I imagine that as much as I am looking after the people and, giving back to my community, I do fancy myself a good drink, and it's ooh, that is calling my name. And I think, oh, well, I hear so many people. What's happening? It's it's very exciting. So it's okay, hang on. There's something going down.
Fantastic. So you heading your way over to the tavern then?
Yeah, I'm gonna head over towards the tavern.
Excellent. You gracefully dismount from the thatched roof and begin making your way over. And as you're making your way over, the village elder takes to a small stage, kind of at the front of the kind of tavern in view of everybody, and knocks her flagon on the bar until the tavern itself falls silent. Regis is a slightly kind of elderly, kind of wizened woman, but is kind of very respected by all. And she begins to speak up and says, "Hear me well, people of Hogswallow. We all know what must be done and rightly fear it, but I ask you, who would step forward and help rid us of this beast that plagues us so?" And at that point, Robert, I'm going to say you open the door with a slam, and the cold wind blows in, with you standing in the door, arriving to collect a drink. What would you like to do?
I'm assuming everyone turns to look at me. And, again, I try to keep to the shadows, but like the wind has betrayed me here. So I'm just sort of like, hello. Yes. Good evening. Just kind of, excuse me. Let me just sort of slip past you. And like, just kind of very carefully, like trying to make my way to the bar but people are still sort of staring at me. And I'm just sort of wondering why, like, do I have something on my face? What is?
With you raising your hand and saying yes, Rahij goes, our first volunteer for our great adventure party to go forth into the woods and rid us of this beast. Like raise a round of loudest applause for our wonderful volunteer, good brave sir.
Yes. Hello, Sir Robert Hurst. Hello. I'm sorry. What have I volunteered for? I'm so sorry. I don't. I apologize. I don't understand. What has happened here?
You're here to volunteer, are you not? The adventuring band who's going out into the woods to hunt the beast that plagues us so? It's all for Hildegard's precious Bethesda, for God's sake. How do you not know this if you're part of the community?
I look around like, they got Bethesda.
They got my precious Bethesda.
The internal dialogue of like, ooh, like, normally I just sort of like, find rich people to like take down, but like a monster, I take on different types of monsters, like big, like big money, but not like, but people were kind of looking at me. Now Bethesda has been brought into it. I guess I'm now like, I'm fully like, I'm not going to try and back away from it. I'm like, yeah. I mean, yes, of course. Why would I not volunteer for such an important mission? Yes.
Fantastic. A brave warrior soul stepping forward. And also, they did take the Shepherd Hopkin, but Bethesda, that was a slight we could not stand. Just kind of hitting a staff on the floor. And me remembering I completely forgot it kidnapped a man as well as a cow.
Hopkin be damned. But Bethesda, I draw a line.
So we have one brave volunteer. Will no more step forth? Will anyone try their hand at an act of bravery?
I'll do it. This young man has inspired my confidence, and I must avenge my Bethesda.
Rahija looks and goes, Hildegard, yes. Adventure, is it for you? Okay, what do you feel you could contribute to such a venture?
Well, I know I don't look like much, but it's been a while, and I used to pull some moves back in my day. I think that I could help back up this young man if he gets into a spot of trouble.
Roll a hearts check for me to see if you convince Rahija Grantham that you had some moves back in the day.
One success and one strange.
Rahija Grantham raises a single eyebrow and says, "Indeed. Well, Hildegard, I will not stop you pursuing your precious beast, but make sure to keep a weather eye out for any danger, and maybe let Mr. Hurst take the brave foot forward first."
I'll keep an extra eye out. Don't worry. I've it's fine.
This bit, we all know Hildegard is going to turn out to be deadly with a knitting needle. So
absolutely.
I'm so ready for this.
I'm fully ready for Hildegard to actually like completely like outshine Hurst in this whole like Hurst will be like, how am I the least capable?
Now, if we could just round out the group with one more, a pair of strong arms, perhaps. You there, young lad. You look like you could. Pointing at you, Bradford. You look like you could wield a heavy implement of some kind. I know your father wields a hammer with such might, but will you wield a weapon for us in bravery.
I feel like I kind of look up from my pint and just kind of look around. I'm like, me? Well, I overheard that a cow got killed. That guy's going down.
Rahija will look up, looking side-eyed, tell her, not killed, disappeared. We do not yet know the fate of dear Bethesda.
If it's been more than 48 hours, then I think we know. But that's...
You will find your cow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, good sir.
Those are my strong hands.
Well, brave adventurers, come forth, come hither, come closer. We shall buy a round of drinks and talk about the plan to set forth, and let the rest of the town go about their way. And conversation begins to kind of murmur back up as you all move over towards Rahija for a bit of a closer conversation. Is there anything else you'd like to do in tavern on your way over to Rahija? Anyone else you'd like to kind of talk to, grab a drink?
I order a pint of warm milk from the bartender to help settle my stomach.
You don't have any milk at home. That's so sad. I would probably like to also like order some sort of like little snack for myself, just so I'm not drinking on an empty stomach, because I like to keep my wits about me. And I'm also going to give like a fat tip, like, you know, honestly, hey, because he was a little ungrateful, I'm going to give more than 4 coin. Be like, okay, I'll show you. I can, you know, I give so much to this community, and like, you know, trying to, okay, here's 10 coin extra.
Okay, you had a 10 coin, and the bartender's eye kind of goes wide, and he reaches down and gets you the especially clean flagon and gives you a large wooden bowl of the famous snack of the area, Borkin's pig bits. So you now have some.
Do I want to know what Borkin's pig bits are?
Borkin insists it's a family secret, but nobody really wants to discuss like which part of the anatomy the pig bits or what the pig actually is. It's
surprisingly good though.
It's surprising. It tastes good. Just don't think about it. That's probably
like hot dogs,
Borkin,
right?
Borkin would put as a slogan if it had a packet. It tastes surprisingly good. Just don't think about it.
Yeah, just yeah. TM.
Bradford's a vegetarian, so.
So with your bowl of pig bits and your surprisingly clean flagon, you head over and join Hildegard and Bradford by Rahija. So Rahija is going to gather around on table, and Rahija is going to lean in close and say, "Now, we believe we know where Hopkin may have headed, or well, where he may have been taken. We have found this," and kind of from within the folds of her cloak, she pulls out a crook, a shepherd's crook, snapped in twain. Split in twain it was, out in the northern pasture, and tracks of some kind were found leading into the Fellbrook forest, a place we very rarely tread. I believe that's where you should, unfortunately, start. There have been some sightings, and you could talk to some of the villages around us in here, but they've been few and quite inconsistent. Mostly what we know is that it comes at night. People insist that it is as large as a wagon, and some have seen it on all fours. Others say it can walk upright like you or I. The only consistent bit of information that we have is its eyes. It's a sickly green colour that glowed in the dark like poisoned emeralds. And some have said it doesn't hunt alone.
Oh my god.
It doesn't hunt. So it doesn't hunt alone, meaning there's more than one, or that it just sort of has friends. I don't understand. What does this mean exactly?
Well, people have reported one large beast, but there has been reports of possibly some other things scurrying about alongside it. Minions, perhaps, or perhaps children.
Minions. Middle-aged people love minions. That's an issue. Okay. Okay. I think I'm starting to gather a picture of how this looks. Is there anything like, I mean, I'm sure we probably don't know this yet, but is there anything that we know like about what can hurt? Like, I mean, for example, will a bow and arrow actually do anything to this thing?
Well, no one who's come into direct contact with it has appeared.
That is
Hopkin
fair.
and
Yes,
the
the crook
professor has
is
disappeared,
broken.
so we're unsure. But if it is a simple beast, then I'm sure your martial weapon will deal damage of some sort. But if it is slightly more unnatural in nature, it might have some resistances.
I say we go to the field. Enough wasting time and enough chit chat. Let's go. Away.
Rahisha Grampham slams her flagon down on the bar and says, "You're right, Hildegard. No more dilly-dallying. And to help you find this beast, I know it may not have the capacity of tracking amongst you, but I have found a guide who potentially may be useful in tracking your prey out in the wilderness. And although his methods are unorthodox, I think he will see you right. Mason, would you like to come over here?" And Strider-esque from a dark corner of the bar under a hood, you see a solidly built short man reveal himself with a scraggly black beard and hairy forearms, make his way over to your group. In one hand, he holds a leash, and coming out from underneath the table, on the other end of it, is the smallest pig with the biggest snout you have ever seen. This is Mason Truffler and his micro truffle pig, Petunia.
Bradford loses his shit.
I'm sorry. I hate to bother. I know this is a guide pig, but am I allowed to pet the pig?
And it kind of Mason looks at him and be like, "Well, only Petunia decides who lets her pet her." Roll a hearts check to see if Petunia will let you pet her.
Me next.
Bradford's like jumping up and down.
I got one success, one strange.
One success, one strange. So what I will say is that you'll put your hand down to Petunia. She'll come close to you. She'll give you a sniff, but almost raise a little piggy eyebrow and shuffle back a little bit on her trusses. She's unsure of you.
So, like, basically, I get to boop, but not pet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Petunia boops you, and it goes,
Sure.
maybe not, and then shuffles back a little bit.
I still feel blessed. That's fine. Very good.
And Bradford, did you say you wanted to have a go at petting?
Yes,
Petunia?
please.
Now,
I
you
love
have a way with animals,
pigs.
don't you?
Say it again?
Your character has a way with animals, don't you?
Definitely. Yes.
So I'm going to say add a talent die for interacting with Petunia.
All right. Is that a heart die?
Yeah.
Let's see. I have one success and one strange.
Okay. She has a similar reaction. What I'm going to say is that you have a very different approach to Robert. You approach with such enthusiasm, your large hands reaching down. She kind of comes towards you, but then gets a bit nervous and then scurries back around behind the back of Mason's leg. And Mason kind of looks and goes like, "Be gentle, man. She's only small. When I heard her with those big hands of yours you got there. But yeah, Petunia can sniff out anything, and if we head up to the fields, hopefully she can catch a scent and see us on our way through the forest. I trust Petunia's good old hoggy snout over my eyes any old day."
Same.
And I just slowly back away with my hands.
I put my knitting in my basket and I down the rest of my milk and I'm ready to go. I chug my milk.
Come back to you later.
I would like to turn my back to Petunia so she does not see me pop the last handful of Borkin's pig bits, and with a full mouth be like, "I'm ready." Excuse me.
Roll a wit check.
Oh
no.
Thank God that's what I'm good at.
At minor disadvantage for hiding your consumption of the pig bits.
So what would a minor be?
So just minus one of your core points. So it will take one of the d6s out.
Okay, hang on, sorry, one second. Let me real quick change that. 2 successes, 1 strange.
Nice.
A smell on the air seems to be deeply upsetting Petunia, but she can't tell from where. As you scoff down the final kind of morsels of pig bits from the bowl, and begin to head outside of the tavern. So are you all kind of happy to leave the tavern now? Are you wanting to head up to the Northern Pasture and begin kind of exploring?
Let's go.
Okie dokie, cool. I think actually before we head up to the Northern Pasture, one thing to kind of talk about is weapons and what you kind of have kind of on you. So Robert Hurst already has his trusty bow, but for you, Bradford and Hildegard, I feel that you would not want to be kind of going out into the forest completely unarmed. So for your knitting needles, Hildegard, are they more of a stabby implement, or are they more of a precisely thrown implement? What's the intention?
Oh my god, like a ninja grab.
I really like throwing needles. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, let's do throwing. So, and I have 2 of them, throwing needles. I also imagine she has a cane because she's old, but I don't have to use that as a weapon if you don't want to give that to me. I could just use it as a cane.
Your cane, I will say, is just like a close range weapon that does like 2 blunt damage. So you could just bonk stuff on the snoot with that. Perfect. However, your throwing knives, which are going to be throwing knitting needles, we're going to use the same stats. They will do 2 pierce, and you can throw it at kind of a medium range, about kind of 40, 50 feet, kind of with precise accuracy. So that means they will ignore any kind of armored creature. Your knitting needles will just go straight through because they're sharp as hell. Okay. How about you, Bradford? What heavy implements do you feel you would carry into the forest with you to protect yourself?
Ooh, well, my father is a blacksmith, so I feel like I have something iron on me. I'm trying to think of what. Maybe like
Classic
a big hammer or something of that sort.
Okay. Yeah. Let's give you kind of like a big kind of tempering hammer.
Okay.
So what I will say is that it will do 4 blunt damage. You can only use it when you're close to somebody, so that's kind of basically around kind of a few feet of them kind of being in front of you. And it's 2-handed, so that means that you won't, when you're using that, you won't be able to kind of grab or use other items that are going to require a free hand. But it does mean that you're going to be able to pack a bit more of a hefty punch. Excellent.
Nice.
So the peasant gang, bar Sir Robert Hurst, who's not technically a peasant, he just chooses to live in the woods for some reason, begin heading out to the pastures to go and investigate Old Man Hopkins' disappearance.
Oh, sorry. I do apologize. I feel as though, this is misleading. I am also a peasant. Yes.
Oh.
Now that I'm not in town, I suppose I can drop the. How would other people say it? Charade, I believe. Hang on. I have to get out of character.
I hate French.
I have to get out of character. I'm so sorry.
You just hear Mason walking ahead of you with a pig, just being like, "You know a lot of big words."
Listen, it's really when I'm out in the forest. This is me. Okay, when I'm in town, I'm trying to make a big stink about everything. But really, I'm just Sir's my first name. It's not. I'm not knighted. I'm. So it's a trick, right? Sir's my name. The coin I have are all I have to rub together. I live in the forest because I believe people would just say homeless. I'm homeless. I do live in a tree, so no.
A tree can be a home. I pat him on the shoulder. I reach up and pat him on the shoulder. I'm very short.
Wow. That's true. It's true. A tree can be a home, and your friends can be your family, and that's how I operate in life. So, yeah. Sorry about the whole sir thing. My mum thought it would be funny to if my name was Sir, that people might think I was, some regal gentleman. But really, I'm a nobody.
Just a guy that lives in a tree.
When you say it like that, it sounds so much sadder.
So Robert, out of curiosity, is this a lie?
No, this is absolutely the truth. Like,
This is absolutely the truth. Okay.
think of it like Batman, right? Like, when he's like out and about gallivanting, like, yes, I'm, hello, yes, I am Sir Robert Hurst. Like very much like, like I'm, it's disguising my voice. I'm trying to just instead of being like, like, because that's you can't hear what Batman's saying, right? So also they don't know who Batman is. I do. Still, but like that's sort of the thing is off to the side. He's a little bit of a he's a little cheeky man, but really like when he's in his like hero attire and stuff like that, he's much more regal. Yes, because I am Sir Robert.
I see. It's like if we rewinded Batman back in time, because instead of a lord pretending to be a bat, we now have a peasant pretending to be a lord.
Exactly. Yes, a bat pretending to be a lord. Yeah.
Lord. Fantastic. So, this revealed, you begin making your way up to the northern pasture. When you arrive, you see that is a kind of a large, messy field that borders Fellbrook Forest, this kind of big looming forest, and the fences that kind of border off the pasture to the forest have been smashed to smithereens, and something has come charging through. The kind of area where kind of Hopkin was taken is a big old kind of muddy mess, like something has evidently happened here, and Petunia stops here and begins sniffing quite intently, and Mason begins kind of crouching down and having a look for tracks. Would you like to help him in any way?
Yeah, what would I have to roll? What I want to look for is the fence only smashed in one place, and which direction is the debris? Like, is it smashed outward like the thing was going out, or smashed inward like the thing was coming in, or a little bit of both? Like, what was the entry exit point of this field?
Okay, I like that. So roll a smarts check for me to investigate the scene.
No, it was a 0 success and 3 strange out of 5 whole dice I got to roll.
Gosh.
Excellent. So the doom clock's on 4 minutes.
Great.
You kind of look around and you summarize to yourself, this is a big old mess.
What a mess. What are we going to do?
Let's see. So, my whole thing is like, so, part of my move set and stuff like that, especially like as a ranger type, I'm very much like, my best fighting comes from like above and stuff like that. So is there anything that I can kind of like climb to sort of get like a aerial overlook of this field? Like, is there a tree or a shed or anything that I can?
Yes. So you could climb one of the trees on the edge of Fellbrook Forest if you wanted to kind of get a view over the edge of the northern pasture where this abduction has taken place.
And would I be able to see like perhaps like any sort of like tracks or like some sort of like path that it might have created essentially from that aerial view? I don't know if that's smarts or wit, but
I tell you what, I'm going to say roll a wit check for me to scurry up that tree and look down upon the situation with your kind of eagle eyes.
Oh, this is probably going to be my best roll of the whole day. I got 3 successes, 0 strange.
Nice.
Fantastic. Okay, so you everyone kind of looks wide-eyed as you elegantly scurry up this tree, like swinging between branches and doing unnecessary but lovely kind of flips as you transfer right
what
up.
What is he doing?
Showing off. That's all.
And you perch atop the kind of swaying tree, kind of feet steadily planted on a branch as you look down, and the whole tale of the kind of messy abduction is revealed to you. And you can see that the tracks are scattered and messy and showing a kind of sign of a struggle right on the edge of Fellbrook Forest. But through the muddy mess, you can see a picture forming that something came out of the woods and attacked a lone man who you assume to be Hopkin, And this creature, having defeated its opponent, although you notice there isn't any blood mixed in, or kind of heavy amounts of blood mixed in, making you think that it's quite likelihood that there's potential he was still alive whilst abducted, was dragged back into the forest at the edge of the pasture. And the final two things that you notice, however, is that whatever this creature was, it was very large and had hooved feet that are about the size of your skull.
Oh my god.
So just for the sake of time, I'll just say that I kind of, I guess, like relay that information
Absolutely.
to everyone below. Once again, kind of also showing off my like prowess for like knowing like the woods and, you know, trekking and stuff like that.
Fantastic. So yeah, you scurry back down the tree and you relay this to everybody else. And as you do this, kind of Mason gives you a nod and Petunia gives you a light squeal, which I will do, make an attempt to do, because I feel it would upset our listeners if I started pig squealing all over the place. And Mason looks up to you, bright-eyed, and says, "She's got the scent, and I think you've given us a good direction to start reading, Sir Robert." And Petunia begins straining on the lead, pulling you towards Fellbrook Forest. Would you like to go in?
I will follow Petunia to the ends of the world.
So yes, I'm following.
Excellent.
Petunia, I love you.
Colin, I have a question, Colin.
Yeah.
When people call you Sir Robert, does that feel like you're getting in trouble? You know, like when your parent calls your first and middle name when you're in trouble as a kid?
I think that, like, you know, for me, right? I mean, surprisingly, I don't think my parents ever did that move. But I think that, like, for me, it's like, it's if you go the full name, right? Like angrily, like that's when it's like, oh, I'm in trouble, right?
Okay.
But the thing is, like, you know, for example, if you all called me Sir Robert now knowing this, I'd probably be like, no, I think we're fine. Right. But like, when I'm out and about in town and people say, oh, Sir Robert, I'm like, yes. Hello.
Okay.
That is me. Greetings. Yes. Hello. Here's a couple extra coin for you, you know. Stuff like that. So yeah, but no, yeah, you can call me Sir Robert and I won't be like, do you hate me now? Like, what did I do something?
Mom? Yeah. Okay.
Grandma? Like, with you, it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So I'm assuming that this kind of conversation about, like, should we call you Sir Robert, should we not, kind of happens as you begin pushing your way into Fellbrook Forest, like moving aside this lattice of thick branches and bushes and undergrowth that grow ever denser the deeper you delve.
I love that so much. Like, because it's just like the concept of we're in a very serious situation and like we're tracking something. We're just like, so should I call you this? Or like side conversations. And like Mason and Petunia are like, this is a serious matter. Like, focus. And I'm like, one moment. Sorry.
This is what happens when you don't hire adventurers. This is what happens when you get
Very true.
Just
So
chit-chat.
the light quickly begins to fade the deeper you kind of get in, blotted out by this thick canopy. And the usual verdant image that you have of kind of forests kind of in medieval Europe finds no home here. It's all muddy browns, dark greys that enhance the gloom. It makes it feel like the woods perished quite a long time ago, but has decided to cling on to its own miserable existence. There's a reason why peasants avoid Fellbrook Forest, and you're all starting to realize why the deeper you begin moving in. After about kind of 10-20 minutes of kind of trekking through this horrible kind of grey landscape, Mason holds up a fist.
I keep walking.
And I'm like,
as you keep walking, you draw a level with Petunia, and she gives you an aggressive oink.
Oh, okay, I stop.
And Mason kind of gestures you to kind of crouch down, and Petunia lies down in the mud as well. And says, Petunia senses something up ahead. And they kind of go up to an edge of the bushes. And peering through the bushes, you see two wild boars snuffling and snorting at something on the ground. However, these are not any normal boars. They are much larger than any you've ever seen. now
no.
closer to the size of a small pony.
Oh,
Their fur is patchy, and for those of you kind of with more kind of keen eyes, has blistered greening skin that is hiding underneath this kind of dark matted fur. Their tusks are heavily elongated, nearly reaching above the tops of their skulls, and razor sharp, and pulsate with green veins that are spreading up throughout them, giving off an eerie faint glow. As you look closer, you realize they are consuming some form of dead animal. You hope it's an animal and possibly not a human, the crimson blood spattering across their snouts.
Oh my goodness.
One of the hogs now stops feeding and sniffs the air. And I'd like everyone to roll a wit check to stay as quiet and as still as possible.
Thank goodness. Ooh.
okay. So I have a skill called camouflage. I add +1 to my talent die pool when I'm trying to hide. So I'm going to add +1 to my wit.
Fantastic.
And I get to, if I fail this, I get to re-roll because of I'm an operative type, so I have an ability called Ghost,
Ooh.
Fantastic.
which is good because I miserably failed this first one. I have 4 strange, so please, for the love of God. And then, how do I also, just in case, how do I use one of my luck again? I forgot.
So on the digital dice roller that you've got, you can add one into the bank.
Oh, there it is. There it
One
is.
out of the
Okay,
bank,
I
and
forgot
yeah.
what button I hit. I accidentally added one. Then I was like, no, that doesn't work. I got it. Okay, so I have 4 successes.
What?
Dang.
You
That's
do the Homer Simpson meme of you walk backwards and
Yeah.
you just go, you're gone. Like, yeah. You go-
I want to get out of there.
It won't work. There it goes. I got 1 success and 1 strange.
Success and 1 strange. How about
Same.
Bradford? Okay.
I got 1 success, 1 strange.
Okay. So and Mason and Petunia rolled okay as well. So this hog leaves its kind of prey on the floor and begins snuffling slightly closer towards you. Now you have a choice here of what you want to do. You can try and keep hidden, or you can engage. The choice is entirely up to you.
So, what I want to do is like a sneaky elderly assassin, pierce them with my knitting needles from the shadows. But I know that just saying that, and it sounds kind of cool, a little cool, I'm going to fail that roll. So I'm not really sure what I should do.
Well, I think that is a fantastic idea, and if you want to try it, go, because I really want to see a 80-year-old Assassin's Creed. That's the game that they're not brave enough to make. Like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to try to kill one if everyone's okay with that.
Yep.
How many are there? 2?
I'm ready to back
Yeah,
you up
there's
if I
2.
need to.
Okay, so do I just roll grit for that?
I'm going to say because you're attacking from stealth and you're using your needles, you can roll with wit if you
Oh,
like.
cool. Okay. And then I have a question for you, GM. I have an ability that I add +1 talent die to the dice pool when striking against enemies with a red or black DEFCON rating. Does that apply here?
This will not apply for these hogs, unfortunately.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I'm going for wait. I'm gonna add one of my luck too.
We're going hog wild here.
God.
Sorry.
Okay, 2
I
success,
apologize.
0 strange.
Fantastic. So the hog begins snuffling closer and closer and closer towards the bush within which you're kind of hiding. And all of a sudden, you rise up out of the bush with 2 knitting needles and stab into its head.
Yes.
And with an almighty pig squeal that kind of makes your eardrums throb, it begins bucking and wildly. I'm going to say that you got it in at least one of its eyes, so it is going to struggle to kind of hunt, but the other one now raises up its head, seeing its kind of bleeding brethren, and begins charging towards you. So what I'm going to say is that everyone who is in stealth, Hildegard, that's going to have pulled you out of stealth now, so you've kind of got like a surprise attack. Everyone who's within stealth has an opportunity to kind of go first. So let's pull Hildegard kind of over here. And then it's going to be the hogs going to get a chance to kind of respond, and then it's going to come back to you, Hildegard, and then the rest of the group. And that will be the kind of order we have for this combat. So, Bradford, Sir Robert, is there anything you would like to do?
I mean, I'm conflicted over here because I hate to harm animals, and I'm looking at these disgusting boars, but I still feel a little bad for them. But then I look over at Petunia, and she's really warming up to me. And, you know, I feel like I do need to take some sort of action. But I do have a flaw as the gentle giant that I hate to harm things. So that I think that's going to hurt me a bit, but that's what I'm thinking. And I just want to I kind of the way I'm feeling is just sort of like a very conflicted sort of blind rage towards these boars.
Fantastic. So you're going to kind of dash out and swing your mighty hammer at one. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And just kind of like screaming and crying, honestly.
Which one would you like it to be? Would you like it to be the one that Hildegard has already double needle stabbed, or the one that is currently charging?
Ooh. Let's go after the one that's currently charging, because my first thought is to make sure that Petunia is safe.
But not me.
Oh,
It's charging at me, but you're worried about Petunia. That's
yeah,
fine.
exactly.
Okay.
I'm just a little bit mixed up right now, my character.
It's okay. It is a common thing in myth takes for people to care much more about the NPCs than the playable characters. It's just a thing we do.
Par for the course.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
Fair. Would that be a grit roll then?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm rolling that.
No.
Well, it didn't pay off. I have 0 successes and 2 strange.
Narratively, that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So that brings the Doom Cop up to 6 as you charge out of the bushes, yelling, swinging with your hammer at the kind of charging boar. With a quick flick of its head, it uses its tusk to bat your hammer away and continues its rampaging charge. Robert.
Okay, so because of like my stealth and the way that all my stuff has been working here, I'm going to use Crow's Nest here. So
Yes.
I'll get to add a talent die, and I'm going to, seeing this, like I think that I'm going to also now go for the charging one because I feel like now it's even more dangerous.
Because it died.
And I have, wow, I had very lucky here, like 4 hearts and then 1 success, 0 strange.
Okay, so one of your arrows finds purchase in the charging boar. It kind of shrugs with its shoulder and slows down a little bit, but it's still coming. So it is still up.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, and with that, because you got hit, where's my fancy Shiver die? Going to start rolling some reactions. So you hit it. What's it going to do? So it rolled a wit reaction, so it is going to speed up its charge, so it gets to move an extra 10 feet. And it kind of spurred on by the kind of pain of the arrow striking it. And we're going to do that hog's turn. We've got Mason, haven't we, actually, though, first? So Mason is going to charge out, and you're going to see he has Petunia in a papoose in the kind of front of his kind of chest with a club, and he's going to run over and try and club the injured one that's kind of flailing around.
I love that.
And kind of manages to kind of whack it in the flank, but being very careful to keep away from its flailing tusks. Now it's going to be the charging hog. So the charging hog is dead set kind of on you, Hildegard, after injuring its brethren. And it is going to slam into you, dealing 2 blunt damage and knocking you prone into the floor.
Ouch.
Now I feel bad.
The other kind of bucking injured boar now is going to try and gore at Mason with its tusks. And Petunia manages to give off a squeal of warning, allowing Mason to kind of pull back and avoid being hit by one of the tusks. And that brings us now to you, Hildegard. You're currently on the floor, and there's a kind of big old mutant hog kind of looming over you. What would you like to do?
How does being prone work? Is that like that just takes up my? Is it like D&D where it takes up your move action to like get up? Okay,
Yeah.
but then I could still attack.
Yeah, you could get up and stab it. That's fine.
I mean, I guess I'm just gonna get back up and stab him, and I'm gonna go, oh, my back, and then I'm gonna go for it again with the knitting needles.
Oh well, okay, yeah. So yeah, would you like to roll an attack for me?
Okay. Oh God, 0 success and 0 strange.
Okay. So you stab wildly with your knitting needles, but you basically start doing some form of like fencing duel with this hog and its tusks with your knitting needles, but you don't manage to find any purchase on its blistering green flesh. Okay, so that brings us round to the top of the order with Sir Robert Hurst and Bradford. What would you like to do?
Go ahead, Sir Robert. You try next.
Okay. So
To get myself together still.
the one that's charging, what is it? I mean, it's still charging, I'm assuming. How like close is it to us by this point?
So it'll be kind of right next to Hildegard, and it'll probably be about kind of 5-10 feet away, probably from the base of the tree that you've clambered up.
So basically, like its next turn, it'll be able to attack, I'm assuming then.
Yeah, pretty much it will be able to kind of move to anyone kind of in this little glades that you found yourselves in.
All right, I'm going to go for the charging one again because I feel like right now that's the one that poses the most threat because I feel like we're kind of a little bit more focused on the one that like we're kind of wrangled. I'm going to leave my +1 in. Also, I want to give a real quick shout out to the wording on Crow's Nest. I love that it says you add +1 talent die to your dice pool when climbing. You little spider monkey. I just thought that was
that's so cute. It's a nice detail.
yeah, it's just I just think it's a really cute thing.
Thank you.
And okay, 3 successes, 2 strange. Gee.
Wowza. So that is gonna
Jeez.
be a critical hit. So
Dang.
what that does, that's going to do double damage. And what that's going to allow, because it's wit, is going to allow you to roll another attack. So your bow goes straight through the eye of this charging boar as it is kind of rutting in the floor, ready to charge the tree, the base of the tree that you're in, to knock the tree over. And as it begins moving forward, it goes straight through it, and it all of a sudden, just like flicking a switch, just keels over, dead. You have slain that boar. However, with your kind of quick and nimble fingers with your bow, you can launch another attack if you so wish.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Role play there.
Yeah.
Role play. 2 successes, 1 strange.
Okay.
I'm
On
good.
a
man.
roll. Yeah, you
Colin's doing
really
a good job.
I mean, it helps when you have 6 die in your pool. You know what I mean? It's
oh
like
my gosh.
that's the thing. It's like right now, like I've just got every die in my hand, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. So, like, yeah, you kind of slam to this other injured boar, which squeals out in pain and begins kind of back kicking its legs, desperately trying to figure out where the attacks are coming from. Bradford, what would you like to do?
My hammer is not with me anymore. Is that correct?
No, you still got it.
I
So
have
it deflected your attack with its
Got
tusk.
it.
Yeah.
Got it. I mean, I feel like I'm starting to get my wits about me, and I want to try to strike the other boar again with my hammer. So,
Okay, roll a grit attack for me then, please.
ooh, 4 successes and 1 strange.
Good lord. So that's going to be 8 damage. So that is going to
Oh my gosh.
completely destroy this mutant boar. How does Bradford do it?
How do I kill the boar?
Yeah. What would be Bradford's finisher for this boar?
Oh man, I mean, Bradford is a very emotional person, but I feel like he kind of just focuses at the last second and just kind of like puts the hammer right down on the boar's head and just finishes the job.
Fantastic. So yeah, the
crying?
boar.
I think he's focused at this point in time and kind of is starting to realize where his loyalties lie, which is with his group. He's learning. He's young, okay?
So yeah, this boar begins to charge towards you, and you slam your hammer right down on top of the skull, driving it into the earth. And with a slight sliding halt and a ruckle, its body falls still. And you hear in the quiet of the glade a oink of approval from the papoosed Petunia.
Yes.
I did the right thing.
Approval. That's all I ever look for. I mean, for Sir Robert Hurst, not for. Anyway, so they're dead. Cool.
Fantastic. Solved my pig puzzle. The hogs are dead.
We solved the pig puzzle.
So looking around, you see where they've kind of been eating this, what it turns out to be a deer, completely kind of torn to shreds. You notice there is a trail of destruction and blood and viscera that is carved through the forest from kind of where they came. And Petunia begins to oink excitedly, sniffing around the kind of deer corpse, and begins tugging on the lead once more, now unleashed from the papoose. Now the danger is over.
How does Petunia feel about the fact that we had to kill her mutant cousins? Or is she just like cold-blooded?
I'm going to make a roll for Petunia. How does Petunia?
Petunia keeps on coming across like slayed other pigs.
I know.
It's a mystery what may be going on within Petunia's little mind, but I would think that perhaps she saw that these pig brethren were too far gone and become something different. They were not of the true a true pig anymore, and death a death in eternal slumber was a much kinder fate for them.
That's
more
good
evil than pig by this point, you know.
Cool. So, would you like to follow Petunia and Mason as they begin to make their way through this gory trail?
Lead the way, Petunia and Mason.
I'm all in.
Fantastic. So you begin kind of picking up haste, Petunia excitedly tugging on the lead, as you emerge through the thick forest to see a craggy cave mouth that lies ahead of you. Its rocky floor sloping down steeply kind of into the earth and darkness, swallowing any who would dare enter. You notice there are bones and other bits of detritus lying scattered around at the entrance, as well as numerous bloody drag marks rutted into the soil. This cave is one that is probably known to all of you who are local. It's known as Craven's Hole, and is a kind of another place kind of warned of just not to go. However, there have never really been any animals nesting in here before.
I want to roll to see if I hear or see any sign of Bethesda.
Okay, roll a wit check for me.
No.
0 success and 0 strange.
You cup your elderly ear, and I imagine if you didn't hear it properly, then there's a comical ear horn raises up.
Yeah. Just pull it out of my dress.
You hoped to hear an echoing moo from the cave, but all you hear is eerie silence.
Oh.
The cone was backwards. Yeah.
It goes the other thing.
What?
Part? What? Never mind.
So yeah, Mason gestures to the cave and says, "Looks like this is our final stop."
I hope it's not too late for my Bethesda. I'm beginning to fear the worst.
I will make you a promise.
We'll find her.
I will make you a promise. If we have to choose between Hopkins and Bethesda, I am choosing Bethesda every time. Okay? Hopkins be damned.
I want to see him or her in that heart sweater that you're knitting.
That's also kind of my thing too. Is I just really want to see this sweater on this cow. I mean, how could you not want to see that?
You two are good boys. I always knew that.
Grandma?
You're like the grandma I never had.
Wait,
I'm everybody's
Hi.
grandma.
I would like to roll to see if this is my grandma. I'm very now
Oh my god, the town
because
is so
every
small.
sense
She's
of
everyone's
approval
grandma.
makes me feel so much happier.
Awkward.
What is that? Is that heart?
I mean, I'm gonna say roll for luck.
Roll for
Luck.
luck. Okay.
Aw.
Oh my!
No, stop.
3
Oh my god.
successes. It's also green screen, so you can see through it.
I know, it's so funny.
Grandmama?
Yes.
Wait,
Could it be?
wait, Grandma.
I'll give
like,
you guys some
what?
space.
My mind is blown.
Does that mean Todd Howard is your brother?
No, he would be like my uncle, I guess.
Oh, he
Yeah,
was my
uncle.
son. He wasn't my
Yeah.
grandson. Okay.
He's my uncle, I guess. I'm like, wait, does that mean Todd Howard's my uncle? Ugh, that doesn't feel right. It's
This is gonna take some time to get used to.
my
And
goodness.
as you're having this discussion, you hear as Mason has lit kind of a brazier torch, and just be looked pretty dark down there. We all good to proceed, or do we need to have a family intervention shots?
No, it's fine. I offer my arm as extra support to
take
my
it.
grandma.
I take it.
Oh, you wholesome peasants! So Mason and Petunia begin leading the way down into the dark, along with Robert and his now recently discovered grandma Hildegard clutching onto his arm for extra support, with Bradford following in tow. So you begin descending into the dark, and you emerge eventually, after winding your way through some rocky corridors, into a slightly larger kind of antechamber, like a larger cavern. And you see two things. Lying still, with dried blood seeping from their visors, you see there is a group of knights lying scattered across the cavern. Their armor is dented, limbs twisted in impossible directions. It appears the logs have tried to pry the meat out of the tin cans they found, but with little success.
Are they sleeping?
Yes.
It's a weird place for a nap.
Oh,
Nana?
grandma, the truth.
Nana? Do I just say Nana? Nana, no. It's the eternal sleep.
Oh,
Yes.
You're more lucid than this, I feel like. How did you suddenly become?
it's the stress. It's the stress from.
Just Hildegard is sundowning as the adventure goes on.
Yeah.
It's getting a nap, apparently.
The other stranger sight you see, of this kind of like gory pile of kind of reserve meat for this kind of hive of hogs, is books. It's a rarity in these parts, and they're only typically owned by the learned or rich. But there's a large pile of books on one side of the cavern that appear to have been roughly skimmed through, grime sullying the wrinkled page edges.
That's weird.
I pick one up and just sort of like flip through it, and I go, "Huh, this would be helpful if I knew how to read." And I just sort of chuck it back into the
I was going
pile.
to say the same thing.
I nod.
Bradford does not know how to read.
We all nod.
It's like the only thing that I know how to read is like the bar sign. Like someone told me what its name was, and like now I know. Like I'm like, okay, if I see that set of letters, I know exactly what it is.
Roll a wit check for me, Robert, when
Me?
you pick up the books. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hang on a second. I gotta take my extra die off. 1 success, 1 strange.
Okay. So, as you kind of pull one book away and some kind of slide down off the pile, you see a pair of human eyes looking back at you from amongst the pile of books.
Are they living or are they dead? Like, is that like a jump scare where like I pull the book back and I'm like, oh my god, or is it like someone's like, hello, and you're like, oh, what are you doing here? You know?
The eyes seem milky and rancid, but then you hear a small voice go, "Are they gone?"
I mean, we're still here. I don't understand. Who's they?
Not you, the damned hogs. And the eyes still don't appear to be moving, but it appears to be coming from there.
Oh.
Is that you? I don't. Where are you coming from? I don't. I'm going to just look around.
I'm
It's like,
under
this is-
here, under
Oh.
the books, and under this unfortunate.
Well, to answer your question, some of the hogs are gone. I don't know how many are there. Do you know how many there are total?
I read 30 to 50, I reckon.
There's many.
It's an old joke.
Yeah, it's a dumb Texas joke from America.
Anyway, sorry. I
There are hogs.
but that's okay.
Pay no mind to my nana. She's clearly losing it.
So, there's quite a few, and there will be many more if he's left to his devices. He's been creating them.
That sounds disgusting. He's been making them. He's just been porking around down here. I don't understand. I'm so sorry, Morgan.
Oh well, it would be better if I if there aren't the hogs around. I guess I can now reveal myself. And the pile of book shudders. And as they slide away, you see the deflated, sagging corpse of Old Man Hopkin at first. And he went, "Oh no, don't worry. It's not me. It's not a talking body." And the kind of deflated skin sack of Old Man Hopkin is slid aside as a grimy, nervous-looking mage is revealed to have been hiding underneath the dead body. You see, the plan was to hide beneath the books and also a body, because then it was a double layer of camouflage, because they wouldn't eat the rancid meat, and most of the hogs don't bother with the books, apart from the big one. And, you know, me being magic, I thought it would be best if I kept hidden, because that seems what he's kind of interested in.
Demon! You're a demon!
Not a demon.
That's
Not
a
a
little
demon.
weird.
It's, not a demon, just a mage with a very, very sharp survival instinct.
Magic is the devil's work.
Sometimes.
Absolute mad lad. What? Okay. Pause. Stop.
Yes, time out.
What happened to Hopkins? I mean, I don't really care, but he looks awful. What happened to Hopkins?
Okay, so he points to like the kind of deflated skin sack that was Hopkins. Be like, so this was not me. I'm just throwing that out there for
Okay,
you.
that's good.
My
I'm
name-
glad that you prefaced
Good,
that. Okay.
good to know.
My name is Bugsworth. I'm honorable mage of the Lord Highwater. He sent us here to investigate the surge in magical activity from this said cave. The knights were slain. I hid myself amongst the books. They dragged this man and other people kind of down here and consumed them. And I ended up using his body as a meaty flesh disguise as well as the books. It was necessary. It felt necessary at the time.
Yeah,
And-
totally normal.
Are these your books, demon?
The one or two, they kind of kept them mostly close to me, but no, they've been pulling them from everywhere that they can get from. They seem to be looking for something quite particular.
What do they say? I mean, I can read, but I just want to make sure that you can read. You know, I just want to make sure that you know what these books are about, you know?
Actually, I not wonder about that. In my my instincts of surviving and hiding, I not really had a thought to, to do some light reading. Well, let's take a look now. And he just kind of starts rummaging through he's a little bit frazzled, you would say. This he seems a little. His hair's quite.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
He's there just going for the books.
Hiding under a deflated human corpse. Great.
He's just pick up and goes, lies, trash. That's that one. Ooh, this might be useful. The Book of Banishment. Yes, an older text. He puts it in his pocket. This might be handy. Might not be handy for him, but handy for us in terms of getting rid of the thing that is not so handy for us. Do you follow?
Let's just say yes.
Yes.
Where does
Go
that
ahead.
lead us to?
So, and as you say, like, when does this need to? He raises a finger, and you hear a ear-piercing squeal echo from deeper caverns below, along with guttural snorts forming a language you do not understand, but causes all of your stomachs to churn. That it would be where it leads. So these hogs that you've seen, these big ones, green eyes, big tusks, that kind of thing, they were once normal boars, but something fell through a crack in the how to put it, from another realm, and it's got trapped here, and it's been creating minions and been trying to find magical items or a way to open up a portal into its realm, either to go home or possibly bring more of its kind through. Yes. Maybe, he holds out the Book of Banishment, we might be able to stop it. Or die, who knows?
This is a lot to process. I would like to turn to Mason and just sort of be like, can Petunia understand what they're saying down there? Can Petunia like translate or?
So, sensing danger, Mason has now put Petunia back in the papoose. She's not making any vocalizations, but at that large, high-pitched squeal that you heard, she is shaking, eyes wide, and she looks terrified.
Okay, that probably translates enough for me. I'm so sorry, Petunia. You are too pure for this world. Okay.
So how do we figure out what we need from that book? I mean, I have a second grade reading skill, so.
Well, I can skim through and try and do some form of incantation to send this thing back from whence it came and all of that magical stuff. What I really need you to do is allow me to get close enough to do it and not get smushed, eaten, gored by a tusk, or rammed into the dirt.
That's a lot. Okay, out of all those things you just listed, which is the one that, like, if we had to forego that one, would you be okay with?
Any that result in death.
Fair point. Okay. Next question. Do we just go in there or do we try to bring it somewhere else? I don't know if we want to get the upper hand or if the upper hand is just like the sneak attack. Listen, I deal with like dumb people, not a creature that could just kill me with
I think we should try to sneak up on it because that worked very well last time.
Yes,
I brandish my knitting needles.
still dripping with blood.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it's rather preoccupied with the crack, the fissure from whence it came. And if we can just widen that open a little bit and give it a bit of a magical shove, as it were, we could send it back, perhaps. Or not, who knows? I've not read this one before. This is why you never trust a mage.
So we should go fight the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I'll trust a mage before I'll trust, like a giant evil boar. So like,
True.
Like it's like priorities a little bit here.
Yeah.
Plus also like Hopkins is out of the way. So like, I'm feeling a little bit like easier about it, although I am still very worried about Bethesda.
Same.
Ooh, is there any kind of like evidence anywhere nearby of like Bethesda's well-being?
Cool. Everyone roll a smarts check for me. And
I failed that one before, so. Yes, 3 success, 1 strange.
One success, 1 strange. Sorry.
I have 2 successes, 0 strange.
Perfect.
Okay. So,
I'm not super smart.
Robert and Bradford, you begin looking around, but you do notice that you think with the knights in the state that they are, you could potentially strip some of their armor to give yourselves a little bit of an advantage. You don't see any kind of big hoof prints or anything. However, with 3 smarts, Hildegard, you hear, echoing lightly from down the cavern from whence the squelched came, a faint moo.
She's there! She's alive!
So, just so I get this clear, as Bugsworth kind of says, your incentive to go down into the cave to fight this large demon swine is a cow.
It's the sweater.
It's Bethesda, not just a cow. She's my prized heifer.
Yeah, sorry, not real life Mason, but not Mason either. Sorry, you're a mage. What's the mage's name? Do we know the mage's name?
Bugsworth.
Bugsworth. That's right. You did say that because I remember being like Bugsworth. What a name. Yes, Bugsworth. Was it? Yes, I know you haven't been around for very long, but we, treasure the animals that we, are around. And Bethesda is the best of us all. Okay. So, I mean, and Petunia, they're on equal footing, equal hooves, whatever. You get my point. I would sacrifice Hopkins again if I could.
Oh, God.
But in the meantime, like we've got to get Bethesda. I mean, there's a sweater being made and everything.
We also have to tackle the bigger problem of these beasts killing our livestock.
Oh yes, I mean yes, of course.
And also Bethesda.
Yes,
mostly Bethesda.
Of course.
Okay.
All right. Well, shall we head down then?
Yeah, but Bugsworth is like, yes, whatever floats your boat, a sweater for a cow, let's go. And Mason's kind of in the background being like, I'll miss Hopkins, but I'm with the plan. Let's do it. So you begin descending down into this kind of much larger cavern that's bathed in the same kind of eerie green light you've seen glowing from the boar's eyes. The floor is not littered with blood, bones, and the floor is littered with blood, bones, and kind of filth. And you catch this foul odor that hits right in the back of your throat, and it's kind of hot and acrid. And the source of the demonic squealing is revealed to you. At the end of this filthy cavern stands what looks like a gigantic boar once more, but much bigger than the rest. Almost 2 wagons tall, standing on its hind legs, but with the stature of a heavily built giant. Its feet are hooved, but its hands have 3 long fingers, each culminating in a black nail as thick as rock. One hand holds a wicked-looking glaive that seems to be forged of a natural rock like obsidian, and its eyes glow deep green as it kneels over a large fissure in the ground, emanating the same sickly green light. You see it flicks for a tome with one of its twisted hands, and with a snorting snarl, it turns to something in the shadows, and with a small trot, out of the shadows comes a black and white spotted cow. And with a snarl, you hear this large hog say, I am hunger, the insatiable swine. I will consume all and still wish for more. I will eat the world on which you walk, then the stars that shine in your sky, and finally feed upon the darkness that remains and still be hungry. Now, wizard, reveal your secrets to me.
He thinks the cow's a wizard.
The cow just goes, damn your wily tricks, I can't kill you, for I know you have more knowledge than I could ever possess. Damn you! And it turns back to
God, I never saw that twist coming.
and casts the book aside angrily into the wall to join a pile of more kind of just torn in half kind of magical codes and elements. So, in this cavern, so you've got a large cavern, you've got some certain vantage points, some little ridges that lead up to kind of along the side. In the thing, you've got a basin kind of in the middle where you've got this green glowing fissure where the Harbinger Hog himself is standing along with Bethesda. It is also pitted, like honeycombed in a way, with lots of smaller tunnels that seem to be leading off in lots of various different directions and deeper into the earth. However, they are dark and you do not know where they go. As the hog is so preoccupied with trying to kind of interrogate Bethesda for magical knowledge, which we all know she deeply does possess, I'm going to allow you to all make if you want to have a plan, get into position and put that into action. I'm gonna let you do that with some rolls. So, what would you like to do?
I feel like Robert should be up high.
Yeah,
And I should come from the shadows.
Get to.
Yeah, so you look like you'd be able to kind of clamber across the wall and get onto kind of like a sharp kind of ledge that kind of overlooks kind of a large portion of this cavern, kind of looking down into the basin. So yeah, with some clambering checks, you could get there quite stealthily if you wanted.
Okay. I will roll for clamber. Damn, I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, like, I have in any role-playing game, I am frequently just like inadequate. In Shiver, I rule school.
Oh
3
man.
successes, 0
Yeah.
strange. I mean,
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I'm rolling like crazy.
Hero of the people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's of course. Yes, I must be on my best. You know, the people are expecting it, and I very quietly, I suppose, parkour my way up.
Fantastic. Yeah, you clamber up completely silently, perched, bow out, ready to go. Robertson Place. Where would everyone else like to go? And you hear the mage Bugsworth being like, I need to get relatively close to start beginning the incantation. If you can keep him busy enough, I can open up the portal and throw him through. But
Go ahead.
I think I want to sneak to one of the little tiny caves near the back, so maybe I could try at one point in time to like stun him and distract him or something.
okay. Roll a wit check for me. To try and sneak. I'm going
I have
to.
one of my lucks.
Yes.
How do I do
it.
that?
That one.
That one?
Yep.
And then just do it? Okay. 1 success, 0 strange.
Okay. That's enough. That's enough to tie break with the hog himself, and you manage to sneak around to one side and get in one of these little caverns, ready to spring out and strike a blow. Hildegard, how about you?
I would like to melt into the shadows as well and be ready to strike a blow, I guess, opposite of Bradford. So I just also will position myself opposite, I think.
So kind of like a triangle almost of like
Yes,
Yeah.
a triangle of death.
of distraction. Yeah.
So what's that going to be? Wit?
Wit, yeah. Anything stealthy.
Okay, and I get to add +1 when trying to hide, and I'm also going to pop a luck in there because I'm so unlucky.
Oh my god.
Oh no, Nana.
0 success.
0 success and 2 strange.
Okay, so that brings.
Oh, you know what though? Wait, before we go forward, I also have something I can use once per Doom Quarter where I can re-roll any skill check. I'm going to do that this time.
I think that's wise.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. And it says add an additional skill die to your dice pool when doing so.
Are
So
you
now
about
I
have
get
a
to add.
6 die.
No, only 5.
Oh,
Okay, 1 success, 0 strange. Thank goodness.
Okay, you manage to kind of get yourself and kind of hide, but your foot trips slightly on one of the kind of scattered books, and the hog's head raises and looks around, and with a snort, turns back to the book that it's flicking through.
Thank goodness.
And you get into place. So now Bugsworth and Mason, along with the Papoose Petunia, are going to sneak over and hide behind a pile of books that have been discarded to try and get in position ready to start the incantation. And they roll 2 successes.
Nice.
Fine. So they're in position, and Bugsworth gets the book open. He is finding the right passage. He looks at all of you and being like, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Magic now.
there's like a bunch. It's almost like like baseball or whatever. It's like a bunch of like hand
We
signals.
didn't
like,
agree on a sign.
yeah, and like I'm just doing like my typical like merry men of the woods kind of like like hand signals to like tell people like when to go, and everyone's just sort of like, and I'm like just like just go. It's like whatever.
So who's gonna go first?
Yeah.
It's a good question. Okay, which of us is closest to the
That's a good
mage?
question.
I'd say probably either Bradford or Hildegard, kind of on the base. They're kind of like hiding behind like a pile of books in the middle, and then Hildegard and Bradford have kind of gone around to flank the big old hog.
Because what I'm almost thinking is that like I'm assuming that since we're all doing stealth, like basically the last person to attack will probably have maybe the most attention. So I feel like if we start with whoever's closest and then wrap around, it pulls the attention away from our little mage friend, who is probably our only shot at life, so I'm gonna do what I can. So I guess that makes me last. So whichever one of you two wants to go first.
I can go first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is this a red or black DeathCon rating?
It is indeed.
Okay, I'm going to add +1 to my talent die. That was not
I would be surprised if
Fair.
it wasn't.
right. Okay, I'll go first, and I'll throw my knitting needles at his face in an attempt
Okay.
to blind him.
Go for it.
It's gonna be 1 success and 1 strange.
Okay, so unfortunately, your knitting needle hits the kind of thick, kind of leathered skin atop its snout, and it kind of pings off and ding, 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 tinkles
Oh, no.
along, the rocks, and it looks at you and snarls.
Oh no.
And you have now, but you have gained his attention.
Okay.
So, who would like to go next?
Well, I'll try to do the noble thing and try to save Hildegard and distract him a bit because I'm the strong one.
Yeah.
So I think that I come out of the shadows with my hammer and I take a big like side blow towards like his, I don't know, like his back, like leg and back, like flank sort of area.
Nice. Yeah,
should
gonna
roll for
pop him in the
Oh, yeah, I
hamstrings.
should.
Yeah. Roll a grid attack for me.
Okay. 1 success, 0 strange.
Okay. So it seems to bounce off of him. It's with 1 success. Unfortunately, it's not gonna do it, and we're getting up to 10 on the doom clock now. And he gives kind of a squeal, a kind of squealing roar, in frustration. Who would like to go next?
I guess that's me.
Save us.
I'm just going to look. I know we've never spoken before, but if you're out there, this is the time. Okay, and then, that's internal, and then I knock my bow and 3 successes, 1 strange.
God.
Colin.
I
mean,
Hacks
I got- Well, but I mean,
Yeah,
I'm using my strongest suit. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
So this arrow finds a purchase kind of in its kind of shoulder as it kind of begins to kind of turn around to try and find the Bradford smacking at the back of its legs. An arrow kind of hits it and it looks up at you and snarls. So it's going to roll its reaction. We're going to see what it does because this has a lot of reactions. Okay, so it rolled a heart, and with that, it is going to give a big ear-piercing squeal, a stentorian squeal, and can everyone make a fear check for me?
oh boy.
So let's roll your strange pool.
Oh no, that is
1 success and 1 strange.
0 success, 0 strange.
0 strange. Yeah, same.
Okay. So for you, for those without one success, unfortunately, you are now afraid as this squeal rattles around this cavern. Kind of causing your ears to kind of feel slightly damp as if possibly something has burst inside your own skulls. And with that, Mason is going to charge forwards, kind of with Petunia squealing a battle cry as well, and is going to try and whack it with his club. And manages it just, and manages to kind of just whack it on the shin, and causes it to pick up its leg. And with that, Bogsworth is going to begin reading rapidly in a language none of you understand, and the glowing begins to pulse in the cavern. The fissured crack giving off a much light, and the hog seems very perturbed by this, being like, no, and then it looks round at Bethesda. You're doing this with your dark magics, and with that, it's going to raise his glaive. Let's roll to see who he goes for. Okay, so he's going to swing down at Bradford.
Oh no.
And smacks you with his glaive and deals you 4 blunt damage.
Good lord.
I have an ability that says when I'm hit by attack, roll a skill die. For each grit symbol roll, the damage from the attack is reduced by 1. Can I use that?
Yes. So if you roll your pool and if you manage to get a grit kind of on the first die, then we can reduce the damage.
Okay.
The also a real quick question. So earlier when we did like a little skill check back in like the earlier cavern, the two of us found like a little bit of like extra armor. Does that do anything in this as well?
Oh yes, yes. So what this will allow is that if you get hit, you can roll a single die, and if you get a luck, it blocks it, and if it gets a strange, it blocks it and deals 1 damage to the armor. So for you, Bradford, that means you can roll for your tough skill, and then roll another die for your armor, and tell me whether you get a luck or a strange.
Wait, what do I do?
Oh, well, you already rolled for your tough skill.
Oh, I did.
You
That's
didn't
right.
get it.
I didn't get anything.
And then
Okay.
you want her to roll one more, just a single die.
Just
Yeah.
1 die? Okay. Mm,
A luck.
Yeah, luck.
A luck. Excellent. So part of this pings off your armor, so you only take, and your armor holds true, it doesn't take any damage. So now the damage has gone down to 3 wounds rather than 4.
Perfect.
Nice. Okay, perfect.
As you kind of stumble.
Glad I remember that because I would have immediately forgotten, but like I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta keep my people safe. I can't have Allison die on her first attempt at She'll never come back.
And at the basically go seeing Hildegard, her owner, in danger, Petunia is going to kind of rut a hoof and charge forwards, and doesn't manage to kind of get anything, but just kind of headbutts the Harbinger Hog. And that brings us back up to the top of the order. So what would you all like to do? The Harbinger Hog is gone.
I'm just gonna try to hit him again.
Okay, go for it. Stab him.
Okay. Wait, what am I? Yeah, that's right. Okay. 0 success and 1 strange.
What takes us to 11?
Why is this like, why? Just why?
I know.
It's fine.
I mean, Hildegard is
Totally
like
gonna be like
80.
that.
Like she's an old little lady just standing.
Yeah.
Poking.
She really is winded down as the night goes on.
There you go.
So who would like to go next?
I'd like to try and do. Okay, tell me how this would work. I would like to try essentially do like a trick shot, where instead of just like straight up like, I would like to sort of try to bank something off of like a stone or something so that my arrow can pass through flame and hit like with like a flaming arrow because I want to do like max damage if possible. I don't know if that's like if I can like super cheat the world's universe here, but
I tell you what, I'll let you shout down to Mason, and it will use his turn. So he's going to run like Olympic torchbearer style, so to kind of get to raise it up so the arrow can go through.
Nice.
through it.
Hit. And I'm going to give you minor advantage because that's pretty cool. I like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Does that mean I just roll twice and do the best one, or?
No. So you can add another core die to your pool. So if you've got 6, you can. That means you're going to be rolling 7. So.
I am going to roll probably the most insane roll I've ever had. Okay, here we go. Oh, I need to remember to mark that I have an extra die here. Okay, 6 successes.
Oh my
1
God.
strange. I mean, just like from the heavens.
What?
I'm not even gonna look. I'm just I'm like,
now, you know.
I'm just like feeling it. I'm just feeling it.
I know.
Just
So
like,
Wow.
you shout down to Mason like, "Get the torch in line," and he begins like running like Urukai Berserker style. Kind of get in line. You pull back as far as you can, line up the shot, and it streaks through the air, through the torch, and straight kind of into the chest of the Harbinger Hog, setting its horrible matted fur alight. So your bow does 4 damage, and I was going to add on 2 fire damage there. Now, because it's a critical success, that's going to deal double damage. So you've done 12 damage. And also because it's a critical hit, I'm going to say you get another attack.
okay.
Oh my god.
Take him out.
7th die. Because I feel like now would be just like a normal shot. And that is 3 successes, 1 strange.
And it still hits. And you get another one that hits him in the eye and causes him to stumble back atop the fissure. Bugsworth cries out the last kind of elements of the incantation. He goes like, "Whoa, well, I think that's it. I think I've got it. And then the fissure opens up and the Harbinger hog begins being dragged down, a green vortex of like swirling. And as his hands claw upon the edge, being like, no, not back to my realm. Nothing but there.
Smash his fingers.
The looming form of Bethesda stands above him, and he goes like, I knew it would be you, as Bethesda stamps on his hand and he is cast back to the green, swirling void from whence he came, and it all closes. The cavern darkens by the kind of flaming torch held by Mason, and the green light fades. You have cast the Harbinger hog back from whence it came and have saved the people of Hogswallow.
Oh my god.
Bethesda gives you a gentle moo, and nuzzles against you, Hildegard.
I wrap my shawl around Bethesda's neck and I go, I missed you too.
And with that, Petunia gives an oink of approval that echoes around the now empty cavern.
Yes.
Incredible.
And with yeah. Oh yes, sorry.
I was just gonna say I want to give a real quick note here that Dan Tendo Switch in the chat said he saw Bethesda rising up and cowered.
The level of puns in this session has been
it's been wild.
But yes, with that final oink, I think that brings the Hogswallow horror to a close.
Woohoo! Good job, team!
Everyone.
Yay!
That was fantastic. Well done, you wonderful group of plucky peasants. You have truly cast this horrible pig demon back to hell. So thank you.
Next time I will not be a maverick because apparently I'm just like I am the maverick god of this game.
I will be a maverick next time because apparently that's the way to go.
I cannot believe I only had one like bad roll the entire time. It's crazy. Okay.
Well, with our time coming to a close, let's do a quick round of socials. I know social media is in the chat.
Social media has been put in the chat. But Charlie, I just want to make sure that you can real quick pitch your company and your game. So I'll give you like maybe a minute here, if that's
sure. Thank you. You can find us on Facebook at Shiver RPG, where we share stuff kind of really regularly. We're also on Twitter at Games Parable, a bit of an awkward one, and we're also on Instagram as well with kind of our official Shiver page. We're working towards releasing all the final books really, really soon. Things have been. Final designs have been sent off, and we're waiting on kind of hearing back from printers soon. So all the books will be going out. We'll have some really exciting announcements coming out soon. So make sure to follow us on socials, and we'll be kind of hopefully running kind of more sessions and things like this as we kind of move forward. Also, we have a Discord server. So if you're interested in the digital versions of the core book are out now. So if you're looking for people to play games with and just like chat about kind of different ideas, we've already had people designing their own Scooby Gang on the Discord server and sharing all around and stats for the Mystery Machine. So make sure to have a look for our social media, and the links are kind of all there. And join up, and we'll have a chat with you soon. Looking forward to
Thanks so much for joining us. It was wonderful.
I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Okay, and so with our last little bit of time remaining, I just want to say real quick, thank you so much for joining us here at SNIPS Showcase. It's always a blast to do Myth Takes live, and like I love that we've now had multiple opportunities to do Shiver. I cannot wait for the next time that we get to do it. I'm going to drop a link real quick in the chat, which goes to the SNIPS store. And this is a quick reminder, all the proceeds from merch goes to stopaapihate.org. So it's a great time to get really cool designs made by Kelp Rabbit, and also go to a wonderful cause at the same time. So usually we leave on a cliffhanger, but since it's a one shot, there is not one. So in 10 seconds, Mason, the real life Mason, is going to take it away to the next bit. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.